Okay, so for number 1, just going to repeat myself. Divided by -4, divided by -4, we got 17. All right, number 2. Number 2, hopefully you're also recognizing that your steps here, the very last thing you need to do is either divide or multiply by the denominator. See how you're going to multiply by the denominator? So we'll say times 2.4. If I do it on the left, I better do it on the right. So I'm multiplying by 2.4 on both sides. So -5 times 2.4. What is that going to give me? Isn't it -12? A negative times a positive is a negative. And then what I'll do is I'll flip that around. Okay? So far, so good? Everyone's good? All right. Moving right along. 7a minus 3 equals -31. Do I need to distribute? Do I need to combine anything on the left? Do I need to combine anything on the right? Do I need to move all variables to one side? Do I need to move all constants to the other side? Okay, so I'm going to say plus 3, plus 3. Help me out. What is -31 plus 3? Negative what?
-28.
-28. Very good. Slow down just a little bit. Somebody just said 28. That's why I was saying slow down. Whoever said 28 was right. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring down that 7a. All constants are on the right now, so now I can divide by the coefficient of 7. So a equals -4. Okay, now realistically, on number 4, what I think everybody will naturally do is end solve. Don't you agree? No? You would do the steps? Do you want to do the steps? Do you want to clear the fraction or do you want to end solve? You can be honest. You can say end solve.
I just did -5/3 for both sides.
Absolutely, you can do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to practice end solve. I feel like this is a great one to practice. Now, I'd prefer you practicing on your TI Inspire. All right, so everybody in class is picking up that TI Inspire, and we're saying menu 3, 1. Because Miss Kelly will help with questions today, but will I help with questions tomorrow? No. Okay, so K plus, I'm going to put in my 5/3, that it all equals -7/4. And remember, I have to do the comma K to tell my calculator what we're solving for. And I'm getting -3.416 repeating. But on my test, I'm going to have an answer that looks like this. So how do you know as a test taker if you do this, this is right? How do you know if this is right?
Miss Kelly?
Yes.
On the math book calculator, how do you end solve? Because it just gives you a fraction.
Is it a fraction of -41/12?
Yeah.
Okay, so right now that's what we're talking about, Jude. We're talking about how do we know, because when I end solve, whether I do it on my calculator or Mathway, this is what I get. So how do I know that Miss Kelly's answer here on the quiz, how do I know these match? Okay, we can plug it in, or better yet, could I do this? Could I say, what is -41 divided by 12? What is it, y'all? Do you see how it's the same answer? So if I'm on a quiz or on my test tomorrow, and this is one of my answer choices, can't I just do this with my answer choice and see if it matches my end solve? Okay, so that would be my suggestion, because your calculator, whether it's here or online, will give you a fraction answer. Okay, so you have to know to change that and see if they match. All right? Let's do the steps with number 5. Okay, because we end solved number 4. Let's do the steps here. All right, step 1. Do you need to distribute? Do you need to combine anything on the left? Combine anything on the right? Okay, are all your variables on one side? Okay, are all your constants on one side? There you go, good catch. So we'll add 17 and we'll add 17. So 1/2 m equals is it -12? Okay, I want y'all to know that isn't this like this? Aren't these the same thing? Yeah? Do you follow? So right here, multiply by the what? Denominator. So I'm going to say
Miss
multiply.
Kelly, your screen is frozen for me.
Hopefully, now on mine it's not, because I'm joined as a student too. So hopefully it catches up for you, dude. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So we'll multiply by 2, and we'll multiply by 2. Okay, so I get m equals -24. And Wesley, if it keeps doing that, you might like leave the call and come right back. Sometimes my internet, that helps. So that's okay to do that. All right, this guy over here. Are we good over here, guys? I'm moving kind of fast. I'm making sure. All right. Hopefully you recognize that we're here at step 4 because all my variables are on the right side. So let's move this constant to the left side. This is a positive 40. Do you agree? So the inverse would be to -40. -40. So 16 minus 40 is -24. And that all equals, I am making a mistake on purpose. I made a mistake on purpose. Tell me what I did wrong. Ah, lots of people from class are saying, hey, Miss Kelly, that was a -3p. Okay, so don't leave the negative behind. Now we're at the very last step to divide by the coefficient of -3, which means my answer will be a positive 8. Now on my test, I will switch this around like this. Okay? And also on my test, I'm kind of mean. I put a positive 8 and a -8. So if you leave the negative behind, you're going to get it wrong. Okay? Because Miss Kelly was a little tricky. On my test, I have both a positive 8 and a -8. So you got to be careful. All right. Moving right along. I realistically think when you see number 7, what are you going to try? You're going to try end solve. Let's practice end solve. Okay? We're going to say menu 3-1. So many people forget to put the beginning part. Okay? Menu 3-1. And I'm going to I'm going to get my fraction in there. And I'm not going to use W. I'm going to use X. Okay, so plus 19 equals -2. If you use W, right, you say comma W. I used X, so I'm going to say comma X. I'm getting -9. Are you getting -9? Okay, cool. So X equals -9. And we might put menu 3-1 there so we know why we don't have work. Number 8. I'm going to do these steps with you. Do you need to distribute? Do you need to combine anything on the left? Ah, good. 6x minus 8x is -2x. -3 minus 11 is -14. All right. All my x's are already on the left side. So step 4, let's move all of our constants to the right. Plus 14, plus 14. 16 equals negative 2x. The very last thing I have to do is divide by negative 2. So x equals negative 8. I think you should practice end solve on, we're going to do number 9, the steps, and then I want you to end solve the rest, okay? So negative 9, let's practice these steps. Negative 9 times m is negative 9m. Negative 9 times 3 is negative 27, and we'll bring down the rest. So let's combine these. Would that be negative 13? Y'all help me out. I want to make sure y'all are still listening. Negative 13? Negative 9m minus 13 all equals negative 49. All right, we've got all of our m's on the left, so let's move our constants to the right. Let's add 13 and add 13. We're going to be careful here. Negative 49 plus 13 is a negative 36. And what's the very last thing we'll do? Very good. We'll divide by that negative 9. So a negative divided by a negative is a positive. M equals 4. I will have a negative there as well. Okay? Now I want you end solving these 3. Okay? I'm going to pause the video that I'm recording for Canvas, and let me know if you get an error message. Everybody's end solving. Do not have the work. So steps are there, but the work is there, but I don't have answers. So I would love some answers from people. Let's raise our hands. Let's not all shout out over each other. Those of you online, you can virtually raise your hand or type it in the chat. That's appropriate. So I'm looking for number 10. Jude, you've got your hand raised. Yes, sir.
Number 10 is x equals negative 11.
Perfect.
Or n.
Very good. Negative 11. Very good. I've got the steps written out for you if you need them. Aaron, can you help us out with number 11? P equals 3, coming from Aaron. And then my last one, I'll go back online over here if anybody wants to raise their hand. I need number 12. I think I'm saying the wrong numbers. Number 12 is what I need. Okay, right now I'm taking volunteers. Eventually I'm going to start calling on people. All right, Aaron, help us out.
A equals 7.
7. Very good. Any error messages I can help with? I'll help with those today. Let me know. Are we all good at home?
That's a good message.
Like when you don't do end solve correctly and it gives you an error message? Do you know what I mean? All right, let's flip it over. Okay. The sum of 2/9 of a number and 17 is 21. So the sum, right? The sum of 2/9 of some number and 17 is 21. Remember when I taught this, I was like, it's a puzzle. So it's like the sum, here's your first number, and your second number. Can y'all see that? And then your is your equal sign.
Miss Kelly,
Yes.
I have a question. When there's a number and it says of a number, does that mean multiply?
It sure does. That means multiply by that number. So we're going to say 2/9 of, which does mean to multiply that number. Very good question, Jude. So the difference, that's subtracting, the difference between twice a number. So here, that's going to be my 2x, twice a number and 41. The difference between twice a number and 41 is negative 23. This one I felt like was tricky. The quotient. So I go ahead and set myself up for success. I know the quotient is going to be dividing. So the quotient of a number decreased by 7 and negative 2. Do you see how that's your your denominator? And then your numerator is a number decreased by 7. So a number decreased by 7 and negative 2, right? So the quotient of x minus 7 over negative 2 is negative 10. Now, 16 and 17, yes, you can use these on Mathway. On this TI calculator, inequalities don't work. So yes, the Mathway is a great way to check yourself. But guys, I want you doing them by hand, okay? Because this is where STAR test is, all right? This is one of those things, if you practice one way and then go into a test a different way, is that going to confuse you? Absolutely it is, okay? So these steps are really important. No parentheses. I don't need to combine on my left or right. My x's are all on one side. Let's move all of those constants to the other. So plus 13, negative 58 plus 13 is negative 45. And I'm going to bring down that 9x. Okay, from here, I'm going to divide by the coefficient of 9. It's a positive 9, so I don't have to worry about changing anything. It is a positive number I'm dividing by. So this means that x can be anything less than negative 5. Okay, right here. I'm starting on step 4 again. Let's get rid of that 19. Minus 19, minus 19. Negative 4p is less than 55 minus 19 is 36. I'm dividing by a negative. What happens when you divide by a negative? Okay, so when I divide by a negative, I flip the sign. So now p is going to be greater than negative 9.
Miss Kelly?
Yes.
I just have a question. Why do we flip it when you divide by a negative?
That's a really good question. Can I answer that after I finish? Don't let me forget, Jude. That's a really good question.
Okay.
I'll show you visually. Not everybody is going to understand what I'm explaining, so I don't want to confuse people. I'm going to finish, and then I'm going to come answer that because I like that question. I would have asked that question as well. All right, so here, minus 18, negative 4, bring down my a over negative 3. Hey, y'all, I'm about to multiply by a negative. What do I do? What do I do? Flip the sign, and we're going to talk about that y after. So a is greater than or equal to positive 12. Now we're not going to be scared of this fraction over here, okay, because we have our calculator to help us. So don't overthink this, please. Anything times 1 is always itself, right? What's negative 4/7 times 1v? V. Are y'all with me? Okay, now we'll say negative 4/7 times 28. So we're going to go in our calculator. Negative 4/7 times 28. See how I get negative 16? So I'll say minus 16 is less than negative 8. So here's where I'll add my 16. So I get negative 4v over 7 is less than 8. Okay, now from here, the last step, right, tells me that I can divide and multiply, right? I'm going to do both of these at once, okay? I'm going to multiply by the denominator, and I'm going to divide by the coefficient. Do you see how I'm doing it all in one step there? That's more high school of me. This is called multiplying by the reciprocal. Do you see how I'm doing both steps all together? All right, so all of these cancel out, and I'm left with V. But y'all, did I multiply by a negative? Did I divide by a negative, I mean? So what do I need to do to my sign? Flip it. Now I'm going to come over here and multiply by the same thing. So in my calculator, I'll say 8 times negative 7 over 4. All right, 8 times negative 7 over 4, and I'm getting negative 14. Okay. All right, almost done. The sum of 1 and 3/5 of a number is at most 42. So I know 42 will be on my right side. So the sum of 1 and 3/5 of a number is at most 42. If I say I'm at most 42, how old am I?
42.
Do we agree? Aaron's saying 42 or lower. If I'm at most 42 years in age, what does that mean?
Yeah, 42 or lower.
Okay, 42 or lower. So I'm hearing this. Do we agree? At most. Do you see how I got a little confused and then I applied it to something I could figure out? What if I was talking about my age, right? All right. 5 less than. That than always throws things off, right? So 5 less than the quotient of a number and 3 is no less than 11. So I know 11 will be on one side. I've got a quotient going on. But do you see how it says 5 less than a number and 3 is no less than 11? So if this over here, if I am no less than 11 years in age, what does that mean?
You could be 11 years old or higher.
Do we agree? That was Wesley, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I agree, Wesley, that I can be 11 years old or higher. So x over 3 minus 5 is greater than or equal to 11. And then we've got Emma here. Emma stops at the grocery store to buy some milk. While at the store, she spots cans of soup for $2.25 each. If the milk costs $3.50, and she can spend no more than $35. So that's apparently how much money she's got, right? How many cans of soup can she buy? So my cans, it's going to be the number of cans I purchase. So how much were those cans each? Those cans of soup, how much were they each?
$2.25.
Perfect. So $2.25 times the number of cans I buy plus my gallon of milk can be greater than 35 or less than 35.
It has to be less than or equal to.
And we'll put that equal to because technically it could be equal to 35. Now what I would do, because it's technically asking how many she can buy, so now from here I would solve it, okay? And when you go solve it, right, eventually I think you get maybe like a decimal. Let's see here. So in the end, 31.5 divided by 2.25, you get 14. So you can buy up to 14 cans, right? I can buy 14 cans or lower. That is what that means, okay? I'm going to stop my recording here.